Yeah, I guess I have a little bit in me today. Something was brought up that's pretty important on Twitter. Like, they already have characters that are bi and everything else, but they don't develop them or use them. A good example for DC side of the house is freaking Silencer. Like, it was a brand new character that was introduced into the setting, yet she only got like 20 ish issues, and then boom, they're like done. Like, okay, we're done with this character. It's like that's not how you get a newer character to get off the ground. Most new characters probably at least need 100 issues to really develop. Even if you have them guest starring in something. It, Even with the Guardians of well, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. The DNA run was pretty fun, and wasn't even familiar with much of Marvel at all at the time, besides the animated series from the '90s. But uh, Abnett and Landing made it very easy to follow, and it was a more of a space opera vibe. And the whole Philo Vel situation, that character never really got to have an identity of her own beyond like being in somebody's footsteps. Like, oh, I have to take up the mantle from my brother, or I have to take up the mantle from my father, or I have to take up the mantle of Kazar. Oh, it's like just let her be her own character. She doesn't have to fill anybody's shoes but her own. Just her doing stuff on her own with the Guardians was good enough for me. But of course, she ends up getting killed off later on. I don't even. I guess it might have been an editorial mandate, but most of these things, like if they legitimately want to develop new characters, it is going to take time and more than just 2 years. There's probably at least a 5 year minimum to really start getting a character to gain some traction. Even limited maxi runs are probably not going to quite do it. Um, Even with the indie stuff, some of the longer running indies, like the T-Bird stuff that I picked up on for Indiegogo, that looks like it has a couple of volumes. I pretty much banked on getting the whole catch up thing, so I'm gonna get all 4 issues, volumes, whatnot, whatever's come out so far. When that launches sometime, I think it's in December, I want to say. But yeah, it's been pretty busy lately, so trying to keep track of everything is just like, where's my Excel spreadsheet? Where is it? Oh my god. But yeah, like with any new IP or character, whether it's in book format, comic book format, it's going to take time to develop them. And again, that's why I'm doing the stuff the way I'm doing it on the blog for Uplift Protocol. It's going to take time to develop everybody. That's why sometimes even with books, it's a good idea to even open up on a mystery or something that can hook the reader, but it can't be the talk around the table stuff like what a lot of the modern comics are doing now. It's like, why should people invest in these characters? Usually, a bit of action and mystery, will hook you pretty immediately. Like even I'll talk about it later, but with Paula Ritchie's Soulbound stuff, it's like within the first few pages, you get a sense of like, whoa, who are these characters? Like, because you kind of get to the point where it's like that might be their moms talking there in the opening, and then the stepmother that doesn't like the kid very much, which I can understand because I have kind of like a similar setup with Uplift Protocol, except it's the ex-wife versus, oh, there's actual waifu that that she's being compared to, and it's like, oh, oh boy. But yeah, just like with anything else, establishing a new character does take time. It does take effort because you have to remain consistent for that character for people to really start picking up on them. Just taking like basically Sailor Moon and making her black doesn't really do anything. Taking Superman, making him black doesn't really do anything. You have to basically just you could even take the Superman concept and apply it to a different character, but that person won't be Superman in reality. Superman's already there. But it's okay to be a knockoff of Superman or inspired by Superman, even some of the skills, the aspirations, and everything else. That's fine. Because with the how many times people have spun other characters off of a Superman kind of idea, it's endless. I mean, but I've noticed, like with most of these characters, even with the Guardians of the Galaxy run with Abnett and Landing, DNA, um, it took a little bit. So they had to really establish some characters, and it took easily, you know, 20, 30 issues of these characters being consistent with each other as a team, and then that grew over time. But I've noticed some, like with some comic book stuff nowadays, they're pretty much, yeah, they're like 12-parter happy go-go times to make like a trade paperback, kind of like a long-running maxi, even like whatchamacallit, uh like the Doomsday Saga thing, the 12-part maxi series. And even though that's pretty, it like reconstructed the Watchmen universe, hint hint, and basically brought hope and what DC's supposed to do, bring hope, optimism, aspirational. So that's the reason why I'm looking to other places to find that. Hell, I'm looking to myself to find that. I'm making it right now. So there you go. I don't even know what to call this. Like, I guess I could think of a title for it a little bit later, but it's. I find it's easy to complain about some things, but it's harder to actually, well, if I'm complaining about so much about something, then I should make the something to replace it. So that's what I'm always going to strive to do. Um, because if it's not on the shelf, you have to make it. We have to basically start putting our money where our mouth is, or gonna say what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it, and keep doing it until it becomes an epic saga or something. That's just how I'm gonna go about it. That's how I'm gonna go about it. Don't give the mantle to characters to kind of like transplant that character's fan base, because it really won't work. Case in point, look at all the IPs that are just crashing and burning right now. You can make a springboard for new characters to take up some of the duties of old established characters, like handing off the torch. But by doing that, if you hand off the torch properly, you can basically, like, here's the flame for the next generation, that sort of thing. But a lot of these modern comics and everything else, they don't really want to do that. They just want to have the built-in audience right there, and they don't want to develop it over time. They don't want to. Basically, it's like a quick fix, and it's doing is basically disintegrating what goodwill is left with most people. Oh boy, uh, it's getting ugly. And you can see it every day in just the way everything's getting fractured, and most people are just becoming more and more apathetic to it. And the way, the outrage clicks keep going, I guess any news is good news for all these corporations, whether it's bad publicity or good publicity or anything else at all. I guess that's about it for now. See you later, everybody.